A cat's love can feel unshakable until one moment changes everything. And the worst part, most owners never see it coming. Mistake number 1. Declawing a cat may seem like a permanent solution to scratching, but for your cat, it's closer to cutting off your fingertips at the first knuckle. It's not just painful, it robs them of one of their most important tools for balance, climbing, and defense. Imagine if someone came along and removed the tips of your fingers without anesthesia and then expected you to do everything you normally do: typing, cooking, opening doors, without complaint. That's what declawing feels like for a cat. It's a surgery that removes not just the claw itself, but a portion of the bone it's attached to. The procedure is called an onychectomy, and while it might seem harmless in the short term, it can cause long-lasting physical and emotional consequences. Cats are designed to use their claws for everything from stretching and marking territory to self-defense when they feel threatened. Without them, their sense of security is compromised, and their ability to communicate with other cats or defend themselves is drastically reduced. Declawing can also create behavioral problems. Some cats become withdrawn or aggressive because they feel vulnerable. Others may develop litter box issues because the surgery can make using certain types of litter uncomfortable on their sensitive paws. And even when a cat seems to recover physically, the emotional trauma can linger for years. Yet, despite all these risks, declawing is still performed in many places for purely cosmetic reasons, or simply to prevent furniture damage. It's a choice that prioritizes human convenience over a cat's well-being. The better alternative? Providing scratching posts, soft pads, or regular nail trims. Respecting your cat's claws is not just an act of kindness. It's an act of understanding their body, their instincts, and the way they navigate the world. Your cat isn't just scratching the couch. They're asserting themselves, exercising, and staying balanced. Don't take that away. Mistake number 2. Shaking a treat bag every single time you want your cat to come over might feel clever, but it can quickly teach your cat to only listen when there's food involved. At first, it seems harmless, even adorable. You rattle the bag, your cat trots over, you reward them with a treat, and everyone is happy. But over time, this seemingly innocent habit can undermine the foundation of trust and communication between you and your feline friend. Cats are smart, observant, and highly motivated by rewards, but not just food. When every approach, every interaction, every moment of attention is linked exclusively to a treat, your cat begins to associate your presence with only one thing: snacks. The moment that treat bag isn't in your hand, they might ignore you entirely, walk away, or even act indifferent. Suddenly, all the affection, petting, or gentle calls they once responded to become less meaningful because the signal your cat has learned is food or nothing. Worse, this can create a subtle but long-term strain on your bond. Your cat starts making decisions based on incentives rather than trust. They may hesitate to come when called, or worse, start manipulating you to get the treat, meowing insistently, pawing at you, or circling until you comply. What felt like playful training can slowly turn into transactional behavior, where affection and obedience are expected to be paid for in kibble. The solution is simple but requires patience. Teach your cat to respond to your voice, presence, or gentle gestures without food as the primary motivator. Use treats intermittently, not every single time. Reward affection and attention with pets, praise, or play. By doing so, your cat learns that listening to you and being near you is rewarding in itself, and not just a prelude to a snack. Your cat isn't just a tiny, furry opportunist. They're a partner in a relationship built on trust, understanding, and shared moments, not just treats. Mistake number 3. Saying, "It's okay," in a calm voice when your cat is frightened doesn't have the effect you think. Cats don't speak English. No matter how soothing your words sound to you, your cat isn't processing the meaning. They're listening to tone, watching body language, and reading every subtle signal in your posture and movement. So when you say "it's okay," while your own hands are shaking, your voice is slightly tense, or your movements are cautious, your cat doesn't interpret it as reassurance. In fact, it can have the opposite effect, confirming to them that there is indeed something worth being scared about. Cats are incredibly perceptive when it comes to danger. Their survival instincts are finely tuned from thousands of years in the wild, and they pick up on cues that humans wouldn't even notice. A slight flinch, a breath held too long, or a faint quiver in your voice can all tell your cat that something is off. When they hear "it's okay" in a tone that betrays your own anxiety, they can start associating those words with stress, danger, or uncertainty. Over time, what was meant as comfort can become a trigger, signaling that the situation is actually worrying. The better approach is subtle and nonverbal. Give your cat space, avoid looming over them, and use slow, gentle movements. Sit quietly, blink slowly, or offer a favorite toy to redirect focus. Let them decide when to approach. Cats respond best to calm energy, not words. Your presence, patience, and gentle understanding convey safety far more effectively than any English phrase ever could. Remember, in the world of cats, actions speak louder than words, and the quiet, steady signals you give are what truly help them feel secure. Mistake number 4. Hugging your cat like you would a dog or another person may feel natural to you, but to your feline friend, it's a very different experience. Most cats don't interpret being squished or wrapped up in your arms as affection. They interpret it as being trapped. Imagine if someone came along, gently lifted you off the ground, and held you tight against their chest. Even if you trusted that person, the sensation of restricted movement, combined with the sudden change in perspective, could feel alarming. That's exactly what your cat experiences when you try to hug them. Cats are creatures built for agility, independence, and control. Their entire survival instinct revolves around being able to move freely, jump away when threatened, and navigate spaces on their own terms. When you restrict that freedom, even out of love, you inadvertently send a message of discomfort and stress. What you see as a sign of affection, they perceive as a violation of their personal space. This can lead to sudden squirming, clawing, or even biting, not out of malice, but as a natural escape response. Over time, repeated hugs can erode trust. Your cat may start avoiding your lap entirely, hide when you approach, or become wary of even simple interactions. The bond you think you're strengthening could be quietly fraying. The better way to show love is to respect your cat's comfort zones. Pet them gently along the head, chin, or back. Offer lap time on their terms, and let them approach you when they're ready. Cats communicate and receive affection differently than dogs. They prefer soft touch, proximity, and gentle attention over being restrained. By observing their reactions and responding thoughtfully, you're not just avoiding stress, you're cultivating a trust that lasts a lifetime. Hugging isn't love to a cat, but understanding, patience, and quiet companionship are. Mistake number 5. Staring directly into your cat's eyes may feel loving to you, a sign of connection and trust, but for your cat, prolonged eye contact can be stressful or even threatening. In the wild, direct staring is a challenge, a way for one animal to assert dominance over another. Cats, even domesticated ones, retain these instincts. When you lock eyes with them, especially for long periods, they may interpret it as a test of power rather than an expression of affection. This doesn't mean that all eye contact is bad. Cats do use subtle glances to communicate with humans they trust, often coupled with slow blinking. That slow blink, sometimes called the cat kiss, is a way for them to signal relaxation and comfort. But when a human stares intently without blinking, leaning forward or trying to hold the gaze, it can trigger anxiety. Your cat's pupils may dilate, their ears might flatten, and they could even swish their tail sharply as a warning. If ignored, this warning can escalate into hissing, swatting, or retreating to a safe space. Many owners mean well. They want to show love, connection, or attention, but in doing so, they misread the subtle signals that cats rely on to feel safe. Instead of staring, try adopting the slow blink technique yourself, letting your cat approach on their own terms. Sit quietly, glance away occasionally, and maintain relaxed body language. By doing this, you communicate calm and safety, reinforcing trust without triggering fear. Cats may not understand words or human gestures the way we think, but they are expert interpreters of energy, movement, and eye contact. By respecting these instincts, you're not just avoiding conflict, you're strengthening your bond. Remember, in the world of cats, love is quiet, gentle, and mutual, not forced through prolonged eye contact. Mistake number 6. Using the carrier only for vet visits may seem harmless, but for your cat, it can turn an otherwise neutral object into a symbol of fear. If the carrier only ever means scary car ride and needles, don't be surprised when your cat disappears under the bed, hides in a closet, or refuses to even enter the room when they see it. What seems like a simple plastic box to us becomes, in their mind, a harbinger of stress, discomfort, and uncertainty. Cats are creatures of habit, highly sensitive to associations, and very quick to link objects with experiences. If every encounter with the carrier ends in anxiety, the mere sight of it can trigger a fight-or-flight response. Your cat may struggle, vocalize, or even develop avoidance behaviors that make trips to the vet exponentially more stressful. What's more, the carrier can stop being just a source of anxiety. It can undermine trust. A cat that fears their carrier may start avoiding you in anticipation of being placed inside, interpreting your approach as a signal of impending discomfort. The solution is surprisingly simple, but it requires patience and consistency. Make the carrier a positive, familiar space rather than a vehicle for fear. Leave it out in a quiet corner, line it with soft blankets, and allow your cat to explore it on their own terms. Occasionally place treats, toys, or catnip inside. Sit nearby and talk gently while they investigate. Gradually, the carrier becomes associated with safety, comfort, and even curiosity rather than just stress. By creating positive associations, you transform an object that once symbolized fear into a tool of security. The next time a trip to the vet is necessary, your cat is calmer, easier to handle, and more trusting. Remember, in a cat's world, context and experience shape behavior far more than intent alone, and small changes can make a huge difference in maintaining trust and reducing stress. Mistake number 7. Bathing your cat when they're perfectly healthy may seem like a good idea. After all, humans enjoy baths, and dogs often need them. But cats are built entirely differently. Unlike dogs, cats are natural groomers. Their rough tongues, flexible spines, and instinctive behaviors allow them to keep themselves impeccably clean without human intervention. Forcing a bath on a cat that doesn't need one is less like helping them and more like dragging a fully capable adult into a swimming pool against their will. Bathing a healthy cat can be extremely stressful. Many cats experience panic, vocalize loudly, struggle, and even risk injuring themselves or you during the process. Even if you manage to get through the bath without scratches or soaked carpets, the experience leaves a lasting mark. Cats have excellent memories, and they quickly associate the person giving the bath, or even the sight of running water and a tub, with fear and discomfort. This can make future interactions tense, and your cat may avoid you or retreat whenever they sense similar stimuli. There's also a less obvious, but equally important, consequence: the coat itself. Cat's fur is designed to maintain natural oils that keep the coat healthy, insulated, and water-resistant. Harsh soaps or frequent baths strip these oils, leaving the skin dry, irritated, or even prone to infections. Their coat is a finely tuned system for protection and temperature regulation, and unnecessary bathing disrupts it. The better approach? Let your cat groom themselves. Regular brushing, spot cleaning with a damp cloth if necessary, and routine vet checks for skin or coat health are usually all that's needed. Cats don't need weekly or monthly baths. They need respect for their natural instincts. By avoiding unnecessary bathing, you're preserving not just cleanliness, but trust, comfort, and the delicate balance that makes your cat feel safe in their own fur. Mistake number 8. Playing with your cat using your bare hands and fingers may seem harmless, or even adorable, especially when they're a tiny kitten batting at your fingers with uncoordinated little paws. It feels cute, playful, and bonding. But what starts as innocent fun can quickly teach your cat a dangerous lesson: that human hands are toys. And eventually, they can also become weapons. Cats are predators by nature. Their claws and teeth are built for hunting, grasping, and defending themselves. When you dangle your fingers for them to chase, bite, or pounce on, you're unintentionally encouraging predatory behavior targeted at your hands. As the kitten grows, those same play attacks become stronger, faster, and sharper. A playful swipe that once produced a soft giggle can turn into a painful scratch, puncture, or deep bite. The behavior is not malicious. It's instinctual, but it can damage trust and even make your cat harder to handle safely as an adult. The problem is subtle but cumulative. Each time you allow your cat to engage in hand play, you reinforce the connection between hands and prey. Over time, your cat may generalize this to any hand, including those of visitors or family members, making interactions more risky. What felt like a cute moment in kittenhood can evolve into a lifetime of tension, scratches, or avoidance. The solution is simple. Always use toys as the interface between your cat and playtime. Wand toys, feather teasers, or balls allow your cat to chase, pounce, and bite safely while keeping your hands out of harm's way. Not only does this protect you, but it also respects your cat's natural instincts, allowing them to engage in hunting behavior without associating humans with prey. By playing smart, you maintain trust, encourage healthy exercise, and ensure that fun never comes at the cost of safety. Mistake number 9. Assuming your cat is being lazy when they sleep all day is a common misunderstanding, but it couldn't be further from the truth. Cats naturally sleep between 12 and 16 hours daily, and in some cases, even up to 20. It's not a sign of boredom, neglect, or a lack of affection. It's simply biology. Punishing a cat for sleeping is like punishing a fish for swimming. You're scolding them for doing exactly what nature designed them to do. This instinct comes from their heritage as predators. In the wild, cats hunt in short, explosive bursts of energy. Stalking, chasing, and pouncing require intense focus and strength, but only for a brief time. To conserve energy for those moments, they spend a majority of their day resting. Your house cat might not need to hunt mice in the fields anymore, but those instincts remain hardwired. Their long naps aren't laziness, they're preparation. Unfortunately, many owners misinterpret these naps as a lack of interest in their surroundings or even disobedience. They may try to force their cat to play when the cat is in rest mode, or worse, scold them for being boring. This not only stresses the cat, but also chips away at trust. A cat that feels pressured to act against its nature may withdraw, hide, or become less affectionate. The healthier approach is to work with your cat's natural rhythm rather than against it. Respect their sleep cycles and engage them during their natural bursts of energy, often at dawn and dusk. That's when they'll be most eager to play, interact, and bond. By understanding that long naps are not laziness but instinct, you're honoring your cat's biology and building a relationship based on respect, patience, and timing. Mistake number 10. Skipping enrichment for your cat because cats are independent is one of the biggest misunderstandings of feline behavior. While cats do value their independence, that doesn't mean they don't need stimulation. Even indoor cats, who never have to hunt for food or navigate the wild, require outlets for their natural instincts: climbing, scratching, chasing, and hiding. Without these opportunities, boredom can quietly creep in, and with it, a host of destructive behaviors that might leave you frustrated and your cat stressed. Cats are predators at heart. Their bodies and minds are designed for short bursts of intense activity: stalking, pouncing, and leaping. When they're confined to a limited environment without stimulation, that energy doesn't just disappear. It has to go somewhere. A cat without enrichment may start scratching furniture excessively, knocking over objects, or even developing compulsive behaviors such as overgrooming. What appears to us as misbehavior is really the cat's way of expressing unfulfilled needs and releasing built-up energy. The solution is simple, but it requires intentionality. Provide vertical space, such as cat trees or shelves, for climbing and perching. Offer scratching posts in multiple textures and locations. Rotate toys to keep them novel, and use interactive playtime to mimic hunting behaviors. Hide treats around the home to encourage exploration. Even simple things, like a paper bag or cardboard box, can provide hours of mental stimulation. By prioritizing enrichment, you're not just preventing boredom. You're actively supporting your cat's physical health, mental well-being, and emotional balance. A stimulated cat is a confident, curious, and happy cat. Independence doesn't mean neglect. It means understanding that cats thrive when their instincts are respected and their minds are challenged. Your feline friend isn't just lounging. They're waiting for the world to engage with them on their terms. Mistake number 11. Yelling at your cat or spraying them with water when they misbehave may feel like a quick solution, but it doesn't teach them what to do. It only teaches them to be afraid of you. Cats don't respond to punishment the way we might hope. They don't process, "I'm in trouble because I did something wrong," the same way a human child might. What they do understand is cause and effect. Loud noises, sudden aggression, or an unexpected squirt of water equals fear and stress. Imagine if someone suddenly shouted at you or squirted you with a spray bottle every time you did something wrong. You wouldn't learn better behavior. You'd learn to avoid that person, to hide, and to be constantly on edge in their presence. That's exactly what happens to cats. Yelling can cause them to flee, freeze, or lash out defensively. Water spraying may create avoidance behaviors where your cat starts hiding, avoids certain rooms, or associates your presence with danger rather than comfort. Beyond fear, punishment can damage trust. Cats rely on subtle cues and consistent behavior to feel secure. If your cat begins to associate your actions with unpredictable punishment, they may stop seeking your attention or affection, retreat into hiding, or even develop anxiety-related behaviors. Misbehavior is rarely intentional. It's a form of communication. Scratching furniture, knocking over objects, or refusing to come when called are all ways your cat expresses instinctual needs or reactions to their environment. The better approach is positive reinforcement. Reward desirable behaviors with treats, praise, or play. Redirect undesired behaviors gently. Provide scratching posts, interactive toys, or safe spaces for exploration. By teaching through encouragement instead of fear, you foster a bond built on trust, understanding, and safety. Your cat learns what you want them to do without ever questioning whether your love is conditional. Fear may get compliance, but trust creates a lifelong connection. Mistake number 12. Forcing interactions between your cat and guests might seem friendly or polite, but for your feline friend, it's often stressful, confusing, and overwhelming. While dogs might tolerate meet and greets or even enjoy being the center of attention, cats are very different. They are independent, cautious, and highly attuned to their personal space. A cat forced into a social encounter before they're ready isn't just uncomfortable, they can feel threatened. Cats communicate through subtle body language, the flick of a tail, the angle of their ears, the dilation of their pupils. Guests may not pick up on these signals, and if your cat is pushed into contact, they may respond defensively, hissing, swatting, or retreating to a safe spot. Repeated experiences like this can make your cat wary of visitors, hiding every time someone comes to the house, or even developing long-term social anxiety. What you think of as a small, harmless interaction can actually damage trust between your cat and both you and your guests. It's also important to remember that cats are territorial. They view their home as a carefully managed space where they control what happens. Unexpected visitors entering that space can trigger stress responses, especially if the guest brings other animals, strong scents, or loud voices. A cat that feels their territory is invaded may act out, not out of spite, but out of instinctive self-protection. The better approach is to let your cat dictate the pace. Provide safe spaces where they can observe from a distance. Allow them to approach visitors on their own terms, and never force physical contact. You can encourage curiosity by keeping interactions calm, quiet, and non-threatening. By respecting your cat's autonomy, you're not just preventing stress. You're building a foundation of trust, safety, and confidence that will last far longer than any forced handshake or petting session ever could. Mistake number 13. Ignoring your cat's subtle body language cues is one of the fastest ways to damage trust and create tension. Cats communicate primarily through their bodies. A flicking tail, pinned back ears, dilated pupils, or tense posture isn't random. It's their way of saying, back off. If you overlook these signals, you risk pushing your cat too far, and the claws come next. What might seem like a minor twitch or glance to a human is actually a carefully calibrated warning from your cat, an attempt to avoid confrontation while asserting boundaries. Cats are experts at reading energy and intention. They can sense your mood, your movements, and even your focus of attention. In turn, they broadcast their own feelings through posture, tail position, and facial expressions. Ignoring these signs doesn't just risk scratches or bites. It communicates a lack of respect for their comfort and safety. Over time, repeated violations of their signals can make a cat anxious, defensive, or withdrawn. Your attempts at affection or play, if mistimed, can start to feel unpredictable and unsafe to them. The key is observation and patience. Learn to interpret the small movements. A slow tail flick may indicate mild irritation. A low growl can signal warning, and half-dilated pupils may suggest overstimulation. Adjust your actions accordingly. Step back, give space, or redirect attention to a toy or safe perch. Even small adjustments can prevent escalation from mild discomfort to aggressive behavior. By respecting your cat's body language, you demonstrate understanding and reinforce trust. Cats don't respond to words or apologies the way humans do. They respond to safety, predictability, and respect. Tuning into their signals not only prevents injuries, but also strengthens your bond. A cat that feels heard and understood is confident, calm, and affectionate, proving that sometimes the smallest signs carry the biggest messages. Mistake number 14. Feeding your cat only dry kibble might seem convenient or even healthy, but it can quietly create serious health problems. Cats naturally have a low thirst drive. They don't feel the urge to drink water as strongly as humans or dogs do. In the wild, they get most of their hydration from the prey they eat, which is high in moisture. When you offer only dry kibble, which contains very little water, your cat may not drink enough to compensate. Over time, this can lead to urinary tract issues, kidney problems, and even chronic dehydration. The consequences can be subtle at first. Cats may strain to urinate, develop crystals or stones, or show mild behavioral changes such as irritability or lethargy. These signs often go unnoticed until the problem becomes severe. What seems like a minor dietary choice, a preference for dry food, can have cascading effects on a cat's long-term health. Their urinary system is sensitive, and hydration isn't optional, it's essential. The solution is simple but requires intentional planning. Incorporate wet food into your cat's diet, whether in the form of canned meals, pouches, or high-moisture fresh options. Even small amounts of wet food throughout the day can dramatically improve hydration and reduce the risk of urinary and kidney issues. Supplement with fresh water in multiple accessible locations, perhaps with a cat fountain to encourage drinking. By feeding a balanced diet that respects their natural physiology, you're not just preventing medical issues, you're improving your cat's quality of life. Hydrated cats are more energetic, playful, and comfortable. Their bodies function optimally, and they're less likely to develop painful or life-threatening conditions. Remember, cats aren't humans, and their dietary needs reflect a delicate balance shaped by evolution. Ignoring that balance for convenience may save time today, but can cost your cat health, comfort, and longevity tomorrow. Mistake number 15. Moving your cat's litter box simply because it's convenient for you may seem harmless, but to your feline friend, it can feel like chaos. Cats are creatures of habit. They rely on predictable routines and familiar locations to feel safe and secure. A sudden change in the bathroom location can throw them off completely, leaving them stressed, anxious, or downright frustrated. And when that happens, you may find they've chosen a new bathroom spot, like your laundry pile, a favorite rug, or even a quiet corner of the living room. Cats are not just picky, they're meticulous. They associate the litter box with hygiene, safety, and personal territory. Moving it disrupts that association. Even a seemingly small shift in placement can create confusion. A cat that cannot locate or access their bathroom comfortably may start avoiding the box altogether. This isn't stubbornness or spite, it's instinct. In the wild, eliminating in a known, secure spot reduces risk of attracting predators. That same instinct applies in your home. A familiar, consistent litter box location provides security and peace of mind. The solution is simple. Keep the litter box where your cat expects it. If you must move it, do so gradually. Shift it a few inches at a time over several days, allowing your cat to adjust at their own pace. Maintain cleanliness. Ensure the area is quiet and accessible, and avoid sudden disruptions. Respecting a cat's bathroom routine is about more than convenience. It's about trust and comfort. A cat that knows where their litter box is feels safe, confident, and in control of their environment. Disregard that, and even the simplest needs can become stressful, frustrating, and lead to unwanted accidents. Predictability is a gift you can give your cat, and it starts with the humble litter box. Mistake number 16. Picking your cat up all the time may feel like a natural way to show affection, but for most cats, it's far from enjoyable. While some felines tolerate being lifted, very few actually like it. To them, being suddenly lifted off the ground is a jarring experience. It's like losing all control over their own body and environment. Imagine being carried unexpectedly, unable to move, and having no escape in sight. Even if your intentions are loving, the sensation can trigger stress, anxiety, and mistrust. Cats are highly attuned to their surroundings. They rely on their paws, claws, and body positioning to navigate safely, climb, and protect themselves. Removing them from the ground suddenly strips away that sense of security. A cat lifted too often may become wary of your approach, avoiding you or freezing in anticipation of being picked up. Over time, repeated experiences can erode trust, making interactions tense rather than enjoyable. The problem isn't just emotional. There's a physical component as well. Cats are light, agile creatures, but they still need to control their own movements. Frequent lifting can put strain on their spine, joints, and muscles, particularly in older or larger cats. What may seem like a brief cuddle can actually be uncomfortable or even painful. The better approach is to let your cat choose when to be held. Encourage them to climb into your lap on their own, sit beside you, or nuzzle against your body. Petting, gentle strokes, and calm presence often provide far more comfort than forced lifting. By respecting their autonomy, you preserve trust, reduce stress, and allow your cat to feel in control. Affection doesn't need to come from being held. It comes from being understood and respected on their terms. Mistake number 17. Leaving your cat's food bowls right next to the litter box might seem like a convenient use of space, but to your cat, it's unthinkable. Would you want to eat dinner in the bathroom, surrounded by smells of waste? Neither does your feline friend. Cats are fastidious creatures with a strong sense of hygiene. They instinctively separate areas for eating, sleeping, and eliminating. When you place food too close to the litter box, it violates that natural instinct and creates stress. Cats have an acute sense of smell, far more sensitive than humans. Even if the litter box seems clean to you, your cat perceives every trace, every lingering scent. Eating near that spot can make them anxious, reduce appetite, or even lead them to avoid the food altogether. Worse, some cats may start associating their eating area with discomfort or fear, which can create long-term feeding issues. Beyond hygiene, location affects comfort and safety. Cats prefer to eat in areas where they feel secure, can monitor their surroundings, and have an escape route if needed. Placing bowls in a cramped, high-traffic, or noisy area, especially near the litter box, disrupts this sense of control. What seems like a minor detail to a human can feel like a violation of territory and routine to a cat. The solution is simple. Provide a separate, quiet, and accessible area for food and water, far from the litter box and sleeping areas. Cats thrive on predictability and safety, and respecting these instincts reinforces trust and reduces stress. By separating food and elimination spaces, you're not just improving hygiene. You're creating an environment where your cat feels secure, confident, and comfortable. In the feline world, location matters as much as quality, and respecting that is an essential part of responsible ownership. Mistake number 18. Overcrowding playdates or introducing another cat without careful preparation may seem harmless or even exciting, but for your feline friend, it can be a recipe for chaos. Cats are highly territorial creatures. They carefully map their surroundings, establish safe zones, and maintain control over spaces they claim. Tossing two strangers, or even one new cat, into the same room without gradual introductions is essentially asking for a brawl. Cats rely on subtle cues to communicate: tail flicks, ear angles, pupil size, and body posture. When these signals are misread, or when a cat feels cornered, tension can escalate quickly. A poorly managed introduction can lead to hissing, swatting, chasing, or full-blown fights. Even if physical harm doesn't occur immediately, stress levels rise, trust is tested, and the home environment becomes unpredictable. What you might see as playful interaction is, to the cats involved, a challenge for territory, hierarchy, and safety. The key is patience and preparation. Introduce new cats slowly, in controlled, separate spaces. Allow scent swapping with bedding or toys before face-to-face meetings. Use barriers, such as baby gates or cracked doors, to let cats observe one another without direct contact. Reward calm behavior with treats, praise, and play. Over time, gradual exposure can help reduce fear and aggression, giving cats the chance to adjust on their own terms. Respecting a cat's territorial instincts isn't just about preventing fights. It's about maintaining emotional stability and trust in the home. Cats that feel secure in their environment are more confident, relaxed, and affectionate. Rushing introductions or creating overcrowded situations only increases stress, jeopardizes relationships, and risks injuries. In the world of cats, slow, thoughtful introductions are far safer and more rewarding than hasty encounters, proving that patience is an essential part of responsible ownership. Mistake number 19. Ignoring scratching posts, or providing only one, is one of the most common mistakes cat owners make, and it can lead to frustration for both you and your feline friend. Scratching isn't bad behavior. It's a natural, essential activity for cats. Through scratching, they stretch their muscles, fall down their claws, and leave both visual and scent marks to define their territory. It's instinctive, rewarding, and completely normal. Denying them appropriate outlets for this behavior doesn't stop the scratching. It just redirects it to your furniture, curtains, or carpets. Cats have different preferences for scratching. Some like vertical surfaces, others horizontal. Some enjoy carpeted posts, while others prefer sisal or wood. Providing only a single scratching post, or one in an inconvenient location, is often not enough. If a cat's instincts aren't satisfied, they will seek alternatives. And in most homes, that alternative is something soft, tall, and textured, like your couch or favorite armchair. What seems like mischief to a human is, for a cat, a perfectly logical solution to a basic, instinctual need. The solution is simple. Give your cat multiple scratching options throughout your home. Place posts near their favorite resting spots, near windows, and around areas they naturally stretch or scratch. Rotate or introduce new textures to keep them interesting. Reward the use of posts with treats, praise, or play to reinforce the behavior positively. By understanding and respecting your cat's scratching instincts, you protect your home and maintain trust. Scratching posts aren't just furniture. They're tools that let your cat express natural behaviors safely and comfortably. Ignore them, and your cat will find their own solutions, often at the expense of your belongings and, potentially, the bond you share. Mistake number 20. Treating your cat's tail flicks or swishes as cute quirks may seem harmless, or even charming, but in reality, it's one of the fastest ways to misread their emotions and risk injury. Unlike dogs, whose wagging tails often signal happiness, a cat's tail is far more nuanced. A swish, flick, or lash of the tail usually indicates agitation, frustration, or heightened focus. Ignoring these signs is like stepping into a red warning light. Continue without caution, and you're one step away from a sudden swipe, scratch, or hiss. Cats use their tails as communication tools. Every movement conveys subtle but important messages. A slow swish may indicate mild annoyance. A rapidly thrashing tail signals intense irritation. And a puffed-up tail is a classic display of fear or defensive aggression. Misreading these cues is a common mistake among owners who interpret tail movement as playful or harmless. When you fail to recognize the warning signs, your cat may escalate behavior, turning what could have been a gentle interaction into a defensive reaction. Respecting tail language is essential for maintaining trust. If your cat is displaying a flicking or lashing tail, give them space, slow your movements, and avoid initiating petting or play. Learn to observe their other body signals, flattened ears, dilated pupils, or tense muscles, to gauge their mood accurately. By honoring your cat's tail communication, you're not just preventing scratches or bites, you're fostering understanding and respect. Recognizing and responding to these cues helps your cat feel safe, secure, and in control of their environment. What may look like a cute quirk is actually a critical message from your cat, and responding appropriately strengthens the bond, ensuring that interactions remain calm, predictable, and rewarding for both of you.